Yo, what's up? The new Enlisted update dropped yesterday, meaning it's time to give you a summary of everything new and everything important that changed. So, first of all, where can you read all the details? In the changelog. And here you get everything listed. Now, the overall theme of the update is guerrilla warfare, specifically in forest environments, in the late World War II stages. In this case, in early 1945, because we also had a map dropped for this update, the German Wald map, which is the forest area outside of Berlin. This is the forest in Forest Shadows. Now, what are the shadows? Well, the shadows are commando squads using silenced guns to act like shadows. For example, this German squad, which has a silent STG. Silenced guns have the effect of, if you shoot at bots, they won't shoot back. They barely react to you, especially on further distances. So yeah, like this is the shadow of the Forest Shadows update. And the Americans got a similar treatment. They received a silenced Thompson squad. So yeah, this is the overall theme. Usually big updates come with a map, a new mechanic, a few premium squads, a few quality of life changes, and then lots of new weapons and tanks. This update was relatively small because there is no real new mechanic. Silenced weapons were already in the game. The map is great, really good and fun. The premium squads are okay. The German one is good and fun. The American one, due to the Thompson having bad sights, isn't that good, but still okay. And well, the biggest deficit of the update is are the actually new weapons in the tech tree, because these are quite missing and quite lacking. So first of all, the Soviets received an AVT-40. Originally, it was intended to be a silenced PPSH, though a few butthurt people in the forums and Reddits complained and whined, and now they received an AVT-40 with 20 rounds instead. Now, what does this mean for the game? It means that instead of SMG that competes with the assault rifles that are completely overpowered and unrealistic, unhistorical, instead of an SMG that would have reduced the power creep in the game, because many people would have played, myself included, the weaker silenced PPSH for fun reasons over the assault rifles. Well, instead of reducing power creep, we instead got more power creep. Yes, because now you have an AVT with 20 rounds. So yeah, this is the first big weapon. But at least it's a playable one. Actually, it's an auto include into all of your Soviet armies. Keep in mind, for those thinking this gun is similar to the other nations' guns, like the American T-20s or the German FG-42s, since the Soviets have body armor, and all the Svetlords are playing body armor on BR5, where this weapon is played, it's much better than the FG-42, because the FG-42 will require one more hit to kill you, whereas this still kills in the same amounts of hits. So this is much stronger in real games than an FG-42. Yeah, so this weapon sadly increased more power creep for the Soviets and more Soviet bias. But yeah, what else did we get? Well, we got, regarding other weapons, we got a sawn-off M2 carbine for the Japanese. Now, this weapon is quite the nothing burger. It is in theory quite good, but it's, well, it doesn't have sights. It's quite imprecise. Damage isn't too strong. Well, for an SMG, it's great damage, but still, yeah, the weapon is fine. But it's a bit annoying to use. But still a step in the right direction for the Japanese who desperately needed additional power on the higher BRs, because they are overall the by far weakest nation. Alright? Then the Japanese also got 2 planes. They received the... I think it's that one actually, yep. Here's the problem. The BR5 plane they received is directly competing with the Kicker, which is basically an auto loss. Yeah. So yeah, this is the problem. If you're competing with the Kicker, you won't be played. It's literally that simple. You just won't be played, and yeah, like the Japanese need it, and Enlisted players have been telling Gaijin since years. They need attack planes because they only have fighter planes. after BR3. So yeah, like, this is just a stupid situation. Now the actually good addition to the game is the Key 100. Why is it so good? Well, it's basically the Japanese Mustang. Has the same bomb load, has arguably better weaponry, and has also great flying characteristics. So yeah, this is actually a really good plane, and I can't wait to use it, because this is something the Japanese actually will profit from. It's even so good that it makes even sense to use it on BR5 if you want, and it doesn't compete with the kicker. So yeah, finally a good second plane. Now, then what did the Germans get? Well, they received Jagdpanther. Why Jagdpanther? Well, Jagd means hunting, and many tank destroyers were called something with Jagd in Germany. And, well, why Panther? Well, because it uses parts of a panther. Now, and it uses famously the King Tiger... Oh, not the King... Yeah, it uses famously, basically, a very similar gun to the King Tiger cannon. The long 88. Meaning you won't have much trouble blowing up enemy tanks, and you will also be quite effective against infantry. Now this sounds good so far, yeah, but this thing is a complete nothing burger, because it first of all, if you're a normal new enlisted player, if you want to play this thing, you need to grab this quad, the yellow trident, and then you can insert your Jagdpanther. Alright, now where's the problem with that? Well, you can't play any King Tiger anymore. Yeah? So you have to choose between either Jagdpanther or King Tiger. Now obviously King Tiger wins, because everything that's good about the Jagdpanther the King Tiger also has, but without any downsides. Because the downsides are, every plane is gonna strafe you from the top. You only have 25 millimeters, which is strafable by HMG shots. Anything from the side instantly kills you, which happened to me yesterday live on stream. And, well, the only good thing you have is the front armor, which is very nicely sloped. But the King Tiger has the similar. Like, this has 80, sloped 80, alright. Now let's take a look. What does the King Tiger have? The King Tiger has... let me see. The King Tiger has, well, 150. Which is also sloped. Now, I'd rather have 150 sloped than 80 sloped. And the front isn't sloped, but it has 185. So yeah, like, the King Tiger is better no matter how you see it. And the sides are also really well armored. And the top has 100 millimeters, so it will never get strafed by anything. So this is the perfect tank. It has more ammo. Having a turret means you're much more flexible. Much more flexible. You have two machine guns, one on the top, one in the hull. So you can deal with infantry much better, and you're all more mobile. So yeah, there's no reason at all to play the Jagdpanther or the King Tiger. It's cool, yes, but it would be playable on BR4. Though overall the normal Panther would be more reliable. Like, the normal Panther is better against infantry. This is better against enemy tanks, obviously. But yeah, like, this is just basically unplayable on BR5. So this is a dead on arrival item. And for those veterans who played before the merge, well, you can play a King Tiger in this squad and then your Jagdpanther here. But even that doesn't make sense, because you can just play two King Tigers by having the King Tiger H and King Tiger P. Yeah, so... and then you always start with this, and if the enemies blow this up, then you just switch to the next one if you want. So yeah, so the Germans didn't really get anything. They just got schlonked because of the Soviets being even higher power creeping now than before. So yeah. Now, what did the Americans get? Well, the Americans received their, well, M36, which it used to be BR5, according to Gaijin's understanding of power level and balance, though obviously people spammed instantly dropped this to BR4, it's absolutely unplayable. It has a very strong cannon, yeah, 90mm cannon, absolutely slaps. Absolutely slaps, but it's open top. It has BR2 armor, and yeah, like having BR2 armor and an open top means your defensive measures are literally BR2 level. Having a BR5 gun makes you BR3 or BR4 at best, but that's it. So yeah, this by any stretch of logic, this can't be any higher than mid BR4. And this thing is literally worse than a jumbo, so yeah, like I will never touch this. This is also sadly dead on arrival. Why would you play this thing if you can just be a cool man? You can be a responsible citizen and just use a jumbo. No, this is not a jumbo, but here's the jumbo, yeah? Look at these sexy numbers. 100, 177, also 100 sloped. Yeah, this is what the big boys play, not some open top BR2 slope. So yeah. Yeah, the Americans also didn't get much. So overall, the Tech Tree editions aren't really that great. So this is the biggest weakness of the update. Not really big, well, improvements regarding that. Now, the actual big improvement that came is the map picking system. Now, how does that work? Well, you click here next to game modes, and you can, for each, well, front, Western Front is Normandy and Tunisia, and the Ardennes offensive maps. Eastern Front is Moscow, Stalingrad, Rezhev, and Berlin. And Pacific is the Pacific, the islands, and Myanmar. Depending on the size of the campaign, you get 10 or 15 or 5 ups and down votes, and then you just click on every map, whether you like it or dislike it, and then every map gets a smaller or higher chance to be chosen for you during queuing. So far so good, though the amount of votes you get is ridiculously small. And you can see it by the fact that, let's say, what is the worst game mode in the game? Assault. People agree. If you wanted to remove basically this mode from your choices, you would already have to spend 7 dislikes out of 15. But you still have lots of conquest, you still have lots of destruction, you still have lots of confrontation, all game modes that many people don't like, yeah? So, like, these numbers are ridiculously small. I told Gaijin, increase it to 15, 20, and 25. And then it will be fine. Yeah, then it will be fine. But yeah, Gaijin only listens to spam, so just spam as many posts as you can on social media to increase these numbers. And then we actually will have enough numbers, because right now this simply isn't enough. And the biggest disappointment is, let's say you want to play the new map. Yeah, it has a higher chance to be given to you now after the update, but still the chances aren't that high. And yesterday, for example, on stream, despite me literally liking the map to increase the chance further, we got the map only like 25 or 30% of the time. Like, we still had to leave like half of our games just to show you the new map. Like, this is completely stupid, yeah? So, yeah, like, no thanks. Gaijin, these numbers are stupid. They need to be significantly increased. And you can make this true by spamming on Reddit that you want these numbers increased. Alright, then, talking about maps or queuing, you also get the Kuma penalty now, because all of the enlisted Kumas wanted that. If you leave a game, you will get for the next 5 games, you will get for the next 5 days minus 20%, or 6 days. Yeah, 6 days. For one battle, minus 20%. 6 days doesn't mean every single game, but no. For the next game, you will get a minus 20% penalty on experience, and this penalty is active for 6 days. If you don't play any games in the next 6 days, this disappears. Also, if you leave multiple games in a row, this won't stack. It will always be 20% for the next 6 days. So yeah, this is the official Kuma penalty in Enlisted. And here's the thing, it's simply stupid. Every high quality game, instead of having something like this, has a staying price, a staying bonus, instead of a leaving penalty, which is mathematically the same, but psychologically much better. Because it makes your game look professional and intelligently designed, and not like it was designed by a bunch of neckbeards. But yeah, but Enlisted, well, apparently it's being designed by neckbeards, so yeah, like they have you this, and people are just annoyed. Yeah, people are just annoyed. Most importantly because, well, guess what? Let's say you want to play the new map. Let's say you bought those new squads, and you want to really immerse yourself in the Forest Shadows thing, and you want to play the new forest map. Wild means forest in German. Now guess what? You will have to leave lots of games, because you will not get this map too often. Yep. Or you have internet connection issues, tada, once again, you get minus 20%. Or your team is completely, well, not mentally active, to be polite, and not building rallies, and you have to do all the work, and your team is just running around and gooning. Or your team is empty and full of bots because Enlisted has a player numbers drop. Well, once again, you can't leave, or according to Gaijin, otherwise you get your minus 20% penalty. And lots of other problems. There are game-breaking bugs. For example, if you spawn in a vehicle, there's the bug that you can't drive, and you're literally stuck. Well, I know how to solve the bug. I showed it multiple times on stream. You just click J, you leave your vehicle with one soldier, and then you re-enter, and then you can drive. People who don't know this, which includes every new player, well, what will they do? They will leave the game because they think, damn, I'm stuck here, my game is bugged. Yeah, so all of this nonsense, and, well, and people don't like being penalized for something that they are not at fault for. Like if the game is buggy, if the game is imbalanced, if the enemies have a sweat stack and you're just a normal player, well, why should you be penalized for leaving imbalanced games that the game designers made imbalanced by designing the game badly? Yeah, so yeah, this is also a fail. I personally absolutely don't care about it. I literally don't care about minus 20, plus 20, whatever. But I know many new players who need to grind the game, care about it. So this is absolutely not new player friendly. It's against new players, and this needs to be simply adjusted. So yeah. Well, beyond that, you can now get group recruiting. What is group recruiting? If I click start, first of all, I get this advertisement. But yeah, if I click start, I would automatically, I aborted it now, I would automatically allow any player who also wants to queue to join my group. So this way, without having to organize your team or sitting in Discord or whatever, you can just get 3 random people joining your stack and just playing the same game. So yeah, this is a new feature. Not too many people are using it, but still, it's still a fine feature. Also, for those who don't know, you also still have the join any army feature. If you click on that, you get thrown into any game using any random nation, army, whatever you have equipped right now, and you will get 50% reward for that. Also, don't be surprised about math. If you have, let's say, a plus 100% booster, you would get 100% more experience. Now, if I activate this booster now, I don't get 100 minus 20, meaning 80. No, I get 60. How does the 60 come up? It's explained. It's multiplicative, not additive, meaning it's not counted 100% or percentage points minus 20 percentage points. It's calculated 100, meaning times 1, and then, or times 2, because it's 1 plus 1, and then times 0.8, and this is how you get 1.6. Now, there are multiple ways to calculate these percentages. This is the way that's worse for the player. Yeah. So some games do it the better way, others do it this way. Yeah, this is how Gaijin does it, so don't be surprised. Gaijin actually doesn't fail at basic math this time. No, Gaijin literally implemented a system that gives you like this effect. So yeah, whatever. Also, if you, okay, that's so far. Now, what else is there to say? Well, let's quickly go over the remaining details. There were some graphical updates, meaning you have these cool bullet effects. Now, bullet effects in Windows are rare, because usually you will always destroy the window. Yeah, it's actually hard. I'm very sure some Gaijin goon had to sit there with a pistol and shoot at 10 windows until he managed to land 5 shots without breaking the window. I'm very sure he did exactly that to create this image. You need to whip out your revolver, then spend 2 minutes reloading after every shot, and then you get this pattern. Now, the actual cool part are these effects here. Look at this. Yeah, like, if you shoot wood and other things, this is where it actually looks cool. But yeah, this is also cool. We just need something like Panzer glass, like fortified glass. This would be actually cool if you have structure. There were some in World War II, though not that common. Then you can actually use this for really, really nice effects. Then the loot boxes are back, also known as the Zuma TikTok goon boxes. What are these? Well, I made 2 very specific detailed guides about the loot boxes. I'm gonna link them below. And one of them is where I spent 3.5 million on this and went completely broke. It was last year. And well, as responsible citizens, you do not want to spend your lunch money on online looting, because this is like online gambling is always bad. But I'm gonna give you a quick summary of how it works now. Though still watch the other videos, because there everything's explained. Also explained how you can maximize your chances to get good stuff. Now, the biggest takeaway is most of it is air and complete slop. Because if you think 30% silver prices is good, well, look at this. Most of it is literally nothing. So, yeah, this is the one thing. Then, the boosters are also quite slop. Because, well, first of all, it's not properly written here. And secondly, well, guess what? You will often get a bad map or bad game, and then, yeah, also the issue. And then other things. Now, the best prices you can get are old event squads and event items. Yeah. Keep in mind, though, if you're a veteran player and you got all of them, this literally disappears for you. Now, you can also get random name decorators, of which, well, some are good, some are not. I have basically most. Like, after I spent 3.5 million, I basically got everything you can, so I only have a few things left. Now, what's true for every player out there is that you can get weapons. This is the cool stuff. And you can get basically as many of them as possible. There's no limit. So this is cool. Now, problem is, around half of these items are really good. Or, like, the swords are all great except for the katana, because you can get them basically in the tech tree. The auto pistols are also good. Though I only see this one auto pistol. Something like a hammer is completely worthless. It doesn't have any extra effect. The NKVD knife also is quite worthless. It's like a weak knife with only a, like, it prevents you from charging. It only gives you a minor bonus, so also not good. Most pistols are slop. Most of them are actually worse than the good tech tree pistols. Now, some of these items are actually good, but yeah, the chance to, or this is also a good auto pistol, the chance to get something really good is very, very small. Yeah, very small. I would say maybe 25% to get a good item. And keep in mind these ugly ahistorical bloodied weapons, which are exact 1-to-1 copies from the tech tree, are also here, which is also quite a fail. So also cool items like the Luftfaust, which is a BR2 weapon by power, which is still on BR4, also quite a fail. So yeah, like, this is just simply not that good. Overall, it's better to not gamble, but to get stuff you want directly. Yeah, it's always better to get stuff you want directly. And most of the things you can see in the gamble box, they're not even good. Yeah, so, but yeah. Now, to be a responsible citizen, I'm gonna gamble myself and show you the pain and suffering of gambling, so you don't do it. Yep, okay, let's invest 100,000 silver and see what we get. We get 3 portraits, alright. We get 1 BR2 Thompson, alright. We get, of course, lots of call sign orders. Oh, level soldier up order. This is actually quite rare and I wanted more of those. We get 5,000 silver. Oh my god. From the 30% silver prices, we literally got only 5,000 silver. And we got lots of useless boosters that are gonna be wasted because we will queue to bad maps. Yes. Alright, you see, this is the enlisted gambling experience. And also keep in mind you can only have 3 boosters active maximum at a time. So yeah, like, this is just, yeah, like, gambling is not good. Just don't be a stupid zoomer who gambles, because the trick that companies use is obviously they release gambling boxes exactly with a new update. Why? Because if a new update is released, you will want to spend silver anyway. Because if there's a new update, for example for the Soviets, I spent like, I don't know, 4 games grinding this AV2, because the squad that I had to use it was already almost completed. So I played 4 games, and then I bought, I think, 14 of these. And it cost me like 100,000 silver overall to buy them and upgrade them and so on. Alright, cool. 100,000 silver gone. Now, I didn't do it for any other nation so far, but guess what? There are many reasons to spend silver now with the new update out. If at the same time, when people are already short on silver, the gambling box comes out, lots of zoomers out there are gonna spend all of their lunch monies on the gambling box. And then they're broke. And then they're gonna start buying silver for real money. Like, this is why gambling boxes are being released at the same time when big updates come out. Yeah, so gambling is okay if you don't care about the currency, but if you do care about the currency, it's not a good idea. So be smart and don't get gaijined. Yeah, don't get gaijined. Now, what else is there? They basically covered almost everything now. There were some weapon rebalancings. For example, the solo turn weapon get the German event solo turn anti-tank rifle got downranked to BR1. Very good, very good. Germans are finally now a nation that also has a good BR1 anti-tank rifle. Before it had the by far worst one. So yeah, that's good. Then some other minor changes, nothing too special here. AVS got its fire rate increase, meaning for everyone who wants to sweat on BR5 Soviets, the strongest way to be a sweaty BR5 Soviet player is to have an AVT 40 as a primary and an AVS 36 as a secondary, because this gun is perfect for mid and long range, and this gun is better on short range, because with a high fire rate and high damage, no one can defeat you on short range. You just spray everything away. So yeah, also they don't cannibalize the ammunition if they have different magazine sizes. So yeah, this is the strongest setup overall for Soviets right now. So the AVS is still playable. Like, the biggest loser for the Soviets is the normal AVT. Alright, here it is. The normal AVT, because this one's completely useless now. It's obviously much worse than the AVT 20. And it's also not useful compared to the AVS 36. But I was wondering, what should I do? Should I sell all of my AVT 40s or my old ones? I recommend to keep them because, first of all, you barely get any silver anyway. And secondly, many people are sure that Enlisted is going to get BR6 sometime in the future. Because there's way too much stuff in BR5 that's simply unplayable. Like the lower half of BR5. And the higher half of BR5 is too strong. And it would make sense, it would profit everyone if half of the BR5 stuff gets up-tiered into BR6. And then you can play BR5 stuff, you can play all of those weak assault rifles compared to the strong assault rifles that would be on BR6. And also BR4 wouldn't be tormented anymore by the overpowered BR5 stuff, because now it's in BR6. And BR4 would only play against the weak BR5 stuff. So yeah, this is going to happen in the future. And then, guess what? Your Soviet AVTs with the small magazines will be all of a sudden BR5 and playable again. Yeah, so yeah, this is my recommendation. If you don't absolutely need the silver, you're much better off to just keep the stuff. I barely sell any weapons. Like, literally, I just if I would be broke, yeah. But I barely sell any weapons, because even in the past I try to keep them, because if the price that you get back is too small, then it's not, yeah, like, then the German paratrooper FG42 finally got damage increase. It's still a very weak squad because the fire rate is just way too slow, but yeah, it's okay now overall. There's some other changes, nothing too special. You can change the nationality of your soldiers. Only works for Germans and Americans. Now, how do you do this? You go to a random non-premium soldier and you go to appearance, and now you can change nationality. You can turn Germans into Italians and the other way around. And for Americans, you can switch between burghers and Britbonks. So yeah, it's actually funny to switch your Americans into Britbonks so they sound funny. Though, keep in mind, it changes their voice lines. And also the customization, possibly, you can give them. So yeah, also, but it doesn't change the squad nationality itself. So yeah, yeah, it's a feature that not too many people will use, because it doesn't work too smoothly right now. I guess in the future, in the next coming months, it will be improved, but right now it's not in a true usable state. Okay, then this is almost everything regarding vehicles. Yeah, some down tiers, some changes. Minimal ones though. The Soviet Hurricane from low BR got better rockets. This is actually a good change. Now the Hurricane is by far the best plane you can play on this BR for the Soviets. Now you can use the tail gunner of the big heavy bomber or medium bombers in the high BR, like the Boston one, the Junkers 188, and the Soviet equivalents. Now here's the trick. you can now theoretically use all these guns yourself. You can see here and somewhere down there. Well, I can't zoom in now, but here, and this gun, and yep, you can use them now theoretically manually, though if you're just flying very steady and don't shake around, your tail gunners have quite a good precision after a few seconds of shooting, so I'd personally still rather let them shoot than shoot myself. Yeah, so my experience is I have a roughly 50% kill rate with the tail gunners, which is very, very high. Very high, because yeah, they're actually fine enough coded that if you're flying perfectly calm, they will actually hit something. So yeah, keep in mind though, you're also easier to hit, so it balances out. You need just to be, you need to risk it a little bit. And then for the end, we have, well, what else do we have? Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. Yep, regarding user interfaces, well, you can go incognito mode now, so you're basically not shown to be offline, to be online. Yep, that's quite useful. You get new filters when you're searching stuff. For example, here, if you click on filters, before you could only choose among the squad types or squad classes. Now you can also click only on event stuff and premium stuff, which is extremely useful because it makes things very easy to find. For the Japanese, it barely matters because there's barely anything, well, barely anything. But if you're an older player, especially who played Germany, this is actually useful because over the time there are lots of event squads, yeah, collecting dust, and now you can actually find them again. Whereas in the past it would have been quite a pain in the behind to find them. Then you see these cool Knight's Crosses here, or these cool Lenin stars or red stars, whatever. Yeah, these indicate that you have a special, well, gold order soldier or battle pass soldier in your squad. First of all, what does it do? Well, it gives you, if you have a squad like that, 20% additional experience. Only once, though, it doesn't stack. If you put multiple of them in one squad, it won't rise any higher. This is extremely useful if you want to grind on your squad, which is obviously what I did with the AVT, with the new AVT, to get the experience faster, to save you quite a lot of time. So yeah, this is good. Always put, especially in the squads you want to grind with, these dudes in, and then you get the bonus, and you also get a very cool line of, well, of these medals. And yeah, looks very cool, looks very nice, also cool to collect stuff. So yeah, very nice and comfy to have something like this. Also, if you played the games recently, you will see that explosions look much better now. Especially when tanks explode, it looks more realistic. Before it was very basic, low quality explosion graphics, but now it looks more exciting. You have more smoke effects in the fire. You don't just have light and orange fire. No, you actually have more cool effects. And explosions in general create cooler effects. And, well, if you shoot with a tank, it also, the muzzle flash and the smoke coming out of the barrel looks more realistic now. Some people complained that it's annoying and you barely can see anything. Yeah, well, this is how it's in real life. So yeah, like in real life, weapons, especially strong weapons who create lots of smoke with big shells, well, you're gonna have some trouble seeing stuff for a few seconds after shooting them. That's completely normal. Yeah, that's nothing unusual. And then there are ricochet sounds now. Okay, added new hit effects on tires. Yep, if you shoot at those bikes, as you should, you will hear some effects. Yeah, I so far can't remember because whenever there's a bike driving, I shoot at the driver and not at the tires. But still, yeah, cool. AI allegedly got better now, which is promised every single update. Though it's usually 2 steps ahead and 2.1 steps behind, or 1.9 steps back. So sometimes it improves the AI, other times not. But yeah, whatever. And then instead of reading all of this, I'll give you the summary. Many maps got little changes, like a few things were added, spawns were slightly changed. Overall, many maps got improved because they got trees and rocks added and something like that, so they look more realistic, more natural, and also they have more cover and are more interesting to play instead of just being naked over naked surfaces. So yeah, alright, that's it. That's the quick summary of the update. Why is it quick despite taking so long? Well, because I could have made it twice as long. But to actually talking about everything, but yeah, this is the big summary. Let me know what you think and how you like this update. My personal verdict is it's too empty, and it would have needed like adding actually impactful guns, and not like basically dead on arrival stuff like the Jagd Panthers and things like that. Like the update should have added actually interesting things, because adding stuff to BR5 is rarely a good idea. It will either increase power creep or it will be unplayably weak. So adding stuff to lower BRs, this is the actual good decision, especially to BR4, which is very underplayed. So yeah, this would be good, or adding stuff to BR1 to make BR1 more interesting, this would have been good too, but adding stuff to BR5 is quite useless. And the other problem with the update is that obviously the map picking system is dysfunctional because it doesn't have enough up and down votes. So yeah, despite that, it's overall quite fine. Now I'm gonna do another video soon about these two new squads for those who want to get them, to show you how to perk them and how to use them and what the secret techs are with them. So yeah, wait for that. And also I'm gonna upload a map guide for the new map. Obviously I still need to play it like 10-15 times, so I really know the map quite well. But after I did that, I'm gonna show you how to play the map with all the tricks and flanking secrets and all the other things. Alright, now have a nice US Independence Day event grind. This is quite worth it because you will get the Stinger. You will get the Stinger twice, which is quite generous for Gaijin. And the Stinger is literally one of the most, possibly the most overpowered weapon in the game with insane stats. I'm going to quickly show it to you. We go to a random machine gunner and there it is. I think I only have one or two. Yeah, they're not many. And yeah, this is insanely strong. It has an insane fire rate and very unrealistic 200 rounds. I think this box only could contain 100 rounds, but Gaijin gave it 200 rounds. Apparently that's how physics work at Gaijin headquarters. Yep. Yeah, like this is ridiculously overpowered. And it has almost no recoil, so yeah. If you want to really enjoy American independence, this is the perfect weapon for that. Alright? Until soon, goodbye.